Welcome to a new guide on how to move to Dubai. I got so many questions from the whole community about how can I move to Dubai, what are the different opportunities to live in Dubai, how do I get a visa, do I need a company? All of these important guidelines I will answer in this video in a couple of minutes. It's going to be a short overview, not too much in depth, but all the information that you need about how to move to Dubai. First of all, it's very, very important that there are two principal ways on how to get residence in Dubai. Residence means you have an ID card, for example, that allows you to reside in Dubai, but it doesn't mean you are getting a passport. It doesn't mean that you are part of the UAE in general, right? So there's passport and then there's residence. What we are trying to get is the residence, because passport obviously is way more difficult and there are certain applications and certain things you need to do to become a passport holder of the UAE, or basically a citizenship. What we are looking for is residence, so you can reside more than 3 months and live in the UAE, for example, Dubai. So number one, how can you get the resident ID card is by two principal ways. Number one is sponsoring. That means someone sponsors you. That means you find a job in the UAE where most likely the one offering you the job will make sure that you get your resident ID card in Dubai. And then number two is what we are looking for as entrepreneurs, especially because I know most of my people on this channel, on the community, are entrepreneurs and they want to have their own business registered, also because of tax benefits. So number two would be to get into Dubai through funding and opening a company, right? So opening a company, there are different models of companies that you can open up. There's a so-called free zone. That's what most of us choose. A free zone company means there's a certain area in Dubai that is dedicated as a so-called free zone for tax benefits. And on this free zone, you can open with different partners. Now, first of all, what is very, very important is that when you're looking to get into company applications and also finding someone that does the company application for you, there's different ways on how to do it, right? Very important is that you don't pay more than 7, 8, 9,000 US dollars or euros, somewhere in between that. So most people that come to me with the very first offer that they get from, I don't know, an online platform or whatsoever, is that they charge you 15,000 euros. I heard everything, right? I heard people that got charged for one visa for 1 year and their company set up 15,000 euros, 14,000 euros, 10,000, 12,000, and all of that is way too much. I, for example, did it with e.t.c. e.t.c is a direct company that works with the government and has a free zone, the Silicon Oasis free zone. It's a free zone in Dubai. It's not outside of Dubai. So it's a good free zone. And that's where I paid about 6,000, 7,000 euros for two people, right? So very important is that you don't overpay. And again, this here is just to give you an overview, because I see so many people asking me and it's easier for me to send this video, but at the same time, I also don't want people to get scammed at the end of the day, right? Most people will offer you opening their company. They will take a big part of the registration fee. For example, they take 3, 4, 5,000 US dollars into their own pocket, and the rest they do it with e.t.c, or they do it with another company, like for example Meydan or whatever. There are different free zones, right? So there's someone that offers you the service, right? He takes a big cut of it and then they send all the applications to e.t.c, to Meydan, to whoever that will at the end of the day then found your company. So you can go directly to them. That's what I did. I worked together with e.t.c. I've recommended more than 20, 25 people to e.t.c and always worked very, very well, and they take complete care of it. Now, I'm obviously also going to tell you what I'm getting out of it in the end of this, because at the end of the day, I'm a partner, I'm an affiliate partner. I don't make a lot of money on it, but I know I can recommend people there. I know a lot of people ask me because of the impact of the community that we have, and obviously also moving to Dubai, and a lot of people asking me that, right? So that's the first topic that is very important to understand. You can either get sponsored by being an employee and a company employs you and takes care of the resident and all the kind of things. And number two is you open your own company. Now, when it comes to the costs, that's point number two, as I already said. Most likely it's somewhere in between, let's say 23,000 to 25,000 dirhams. That's about 4,000 to 7,000 euros in between that, depending if you're going to do a registration for a company with one visa or two visa or more visa. Now, that's very important to understand. Don't overpay on that, because again, most people take a very, very big cut on that. And that's at the end of the day stupid. You're just paying more money for nothing, right? Again, I heard insane sums of people paying $15,000 or euros, which is just like too much, right? Way too much. And then there's obviously different free zones. There's free zones in Dubai. There's free zones out of Dubai. There's free zones in Sharjah, for example, a city next to Dubai, or basically also another emirate. But I would go with Dubai. I would prefer to have my free zone in Dubai or somewhere in the surroundings of Dubai, such as Silicon Oasis or Meydan. So Silicon Oasis is where e.t.c will do the registration, the ones that I work together as a partner partner. And that's also where, if you want to, I will recommend you to. I work together with them. And again, they always did a very, very amazing job. Point number 3 is the process of how all of this is going to work. How do you register for the company? What do you need to do up front? First of all, important is that you have been in the UAE, right? You don't have to be in the UAE to register for the visa. That's the first thing we're going to do, is you're going to be connected or get connected to the e.t.c, to a partner of mine, and they're going to send you the invoice, right? So you know upfront everything that you're going to pay. And after you pay a part of the invoice, you don't have to pay 100% of it, 50% most likely, or even 100%. You can pay with crypto, with credit card, whatsoever. That's also pretty easy. What is going to happen is that you will apply for an e-visa, right? So you have to fill out the forms, basic details about yourself and about your company. You will have to choose a name. You will have to choose what the company does and so on. Now, after that, you get the e-visa. Takes 1 to 2 weeks. After you got the e-visa, you travel to the UAE, and at the airport, you bring the printed out e-visa with you, give it to them, and then you're officially starting the process in the UAE. So once you are in the UAE, you have to do your medical test. That's number 2. So medical test means they're going to take basic health measurements such as blood and x-ray to see if you're healthy or if you have any health problems in general, or maybe even diseases that are transferable to other people whatsoever, since they take a lot of care of that here in the UAE. And then obviously number 3 is after the medical test, you go to the typing center, which means they're going to make an application, write an application for you. For that, before you go to the typing center, you need, and most people already have it, but I'm just going to say it again, you need an insurance, right? You need a medical insurance, at least one in the UAE or one that is for international. For example, I started when I did my process, I got a UAE insurance called Takaful. There's different ones. I got a very cheap one, the basic level, just so I have the document to get to the typing center for them to make the application so I can get my residence. So you will need an international or at least a UAE insurance, a medical health insurance, because without that, you will not get the typing form, or at the end of the day, they will not be able to apply for the residence, right? And after you got the medical check, after you got the e-visa check, entering into the country with the printed out e-visa, and after you got the insurance done, or you already have an insurance, right, an international one, then you can go to the writing center, to the typing center, and they will take care of the application. With this application, afterwards, you go to the Emirates ID Center, and at the Emirates ID Center, they will take your fingerprints, they will register you, they will take a couple of pictures. Once that is done, after 1 to 2 weeks, sometimes even faster, you get your Emirates ID. Now you have your residence, and your company is basically also open. Now, in the past, that may change in the future. You will have to go to e.t.c, to the company that is doing the company registration for you, to stamp your passport. You get a passport stamp, and that's basically it, right? So before the application is done, you do the passport stamp. So once you are in the UAE, you got the e-visa done, so you start the process even before coming to the UAE, or once you're already in the UAE, it doesn't really matter. You have the medical, you have the insurance, you have the passport stamped, and then you go to the government for the Emirates ID, for the passport and picture, and then at the end of the day, you're done. You get your Emirates ID. Now, after you have your Emirates ID, it's valid for 2 years. Company renewal is yearly at about $5,000 per year for the e.t.c company, or for one company, for one person. If you have another visa holder in the company, let's say, for example, your wife or whatever, then it's going to be a little bit more, but that's about it, and that's about all the costs. Now, when it comes to taxes, because a lot of people are asking me also about that, in the UAE, you're subject to 9% corporate tax. You don't have tax on private income or on investments or capital gain. The 9% will depend on if you have active or basically qualified or not qualifying income. That depends on what you sell and what you do. For that, I cannot help you that much. You will have to ask and inquire someone in the UAE that has more knowledge, obviously, about the law. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a tax lawyer. I'm just an entrepreneur myself, teaching you about how I did it and using this as a guide for my community and for the many, many, many people that ask me, because obviously they trust me. I'm really appreciative when it comes to that people ask me about how to, open their company, and it's very, very important, because I nearly fell into an open knife, paying way too much to get my company in the Dubai. Because when you start this whole process, you may listen to friends that, overpaid. So that's very important. But again, when it comes to that, you have normally 9% income tax. Now that will depend a lot, 9% corporate tax, but that depends a lot on how you take care of your business. If you leave money on the bank account, there is not yet a certain 100% law with that. I know that they changed changed in the past. First, the companies, the so-called mainland companies, which are in Dubai mainland companies such as restaurants, shops, and whatsoever, they are subject to the 9%. Then they included the free zone companies. Now, we are not 100% sure about that right now, so please inquire someone when it comes to that. But even if you pay the 9%, most likely it's still better in Dubai, paying the 9% corporate tax, comparing it to where you're from. And then also on top of that, there's always some things that you can do legally, obviously, on how to avoid paying these taxes by lowering the income or lowering the money that you have on your bank account, your business bank account, right? Now, once the whole process is done and you have Emirates ID and you live in the UAE, I really strongly recommend you, because it's a law, that you have a business account and you have a personal account, right? In the UAE, you have to open your business account, which means the money that comes in from your business, commissions, whatsoever. In my business, it's commissions, right? And they have to run through your business account, and then from the business account, they can go to your personal account. What you do on your personal account, no one really cares about. On your business account, you will have to do basic bookkeeping. So make sure to keep all your receipts, make sure you have all your invoices for the payments and whatsoever you're doing with your business account. And then I recommend VO Business, right? VO Business is the easiest way. It's an Abu Dhabi bank. It's the easiest way to open a bank account online. You will just have to upload all the documents from your company, like your Emirates ID, the people that are inside of the company. You have to sign a resolution and so on, right? And then at the end of the day, you can open a VO Business account, and then afterwards a VO Personal account, which is even way faster. Basic information is needed to open the personal account. You can also choose Emirates MBD. Emirates MBD definitely is going to be a little bit more difficult for you to get a normal personal account, especially a business account. Depends on how much information you have in the past of your company, such as all the different tax documents, all the different receipts, and so ever. You have to prove where your money comes from. The normal banks here in the UAE, the let's say the older banks, like the more settled banks, the bigger banks in the UAE, they are definitely a little bit more strict when it comes to opening an account. So I really recommend you VO Business, and once you have these bank accounts, you keep them forever if you want to, obviously, but once you have a clean record on them, means there's money coming in, there's money going out, then it will be way easier for you to apply for an Emirates MBD account or whatsoever. If you have no struggles and problems to prove your income, where it came from in the past, which I didn't have, for example, I have all my German bank accounts, I just brought them all the information, then it was pretty easy, but it's still a little bit of a hassle. So if you don't want to do it, then I just recommend VO Business and VO Personal. These are very easy and very likable apps, such as you may know them from online banking apps in wherever. But obviously, if you have VO and VO Business, you have to understand that these are no banks where you can, build up a credit score or then even lend money for consumer goods or consumer, like let's say, for example, cars or whatsoever. Then you will need Emirates MBD, or even for, let's say, you want to buy real estate, then it really makes sense to get a bank account such as Emirates MBD or whatsoever, because they are the ones, the big banks, that give you the credits at the end of the day for you to buy your whatever you want to buy and invest, right? Will be a little bit more difficult, but it's a setup, it's a starting way. Then also, I'm a very big fan of Revolut, especially if you're moving into the UAE and you don't have a Emirates ID, because if you don't have an Emirates ID, you cannot rent an apartment, like not like a fixed contract, right? You cannot rent it, and you can also not open a bank account. So without Emirates ID, nothing is really possible in the UAE. You cannot make any contracts. Now, for sending money and transaction money, if you need to, for example, then I would really recommend you to have Revolut, right? You will find the Revolut link below. Revolut is just like the smartest banking app that I've ever used and saved my ass so many times. I still remember when I moved to the UAE and I closed an apartment right away and I had to pay the rent for 1 year up front. I didn't have Emirates ID yet, and I had to save the apartment for them to not give it to anyone else, because apartments, if you have a nice one, they are gone very fast in Dubai. So what I did is I used my Revolut. I sent them the money instantly, no problem. I wired them over 30,000 euros back at the time, and it arrived in 3 days without really having high fees or any problems, which would not be possible with my normal German bank accounts, for example, such as Volksbank, Sparkasse. So most bank accounts that you have, like state bank accounts or like banks that are country banks, or like more like banks that are more focused in inland national transaction, not international transaction, will make problems if you want to send money from, let's say, Germany, Spain, Portugal, wherever you come from. You want to send the money over these bank accounts to Dubai. Most likely they will not allow it, especially if it's more than, let's say, 10,000 euros, which most likely it will be. And then Revolut is the solution for that, right? So to set up the company, I always say, hey, get a Revolut account just so you have it, just so you can interact and send money. So these are some advice that I can give you. Besides that, if you have any questions, just let me know. That's basically what you need to know about Dubai. Rule number 1, don't pay too much for the free zone company. Number 2, the process actually is pretty easy if you follow the steps. People are very knowledgeable about that and know how to do it. So it's not like you are the first person to ever open a company in the UAE. So everyone basically knows what you need to do. Obviously, you need to bring a little bit of time, right? It takes normally, once you are in Dubai, 2 weeks, normally sometimes a little bit more, to open the whole process. You can do it faster, but why like struggle and stress too much? And then, you know, like some people book their flights back too early or whatsoever. So bring a little bit of a time and be ready, because sometimes there's national holidays, maybe there's certain events, maybe there's certain whatever where it will delay the process of you getting your Emirates ID whatsoever. Normally, again, it's very, very fast. And then very important also is that you inform yourself once you're in the UAE about the tax system and what you need to do at the end of the day. At that point, again, it's still very unclear what it's going to be, how it's going to work. So I cannot give you that much information about that. And then once you're in the UAE, View Business and View Personal is going to help you a lot. Get Revolut just as a sport backup bank account so you can pay, and sometimes you will settle bills without yet having an Emirates bank account, right? And then when it comes to apartments, I will just add that because many people ask me too, is okay, do I need to pay upfront for a year? Do I pay monthly? Do I pay yearly? Do I pay whatever? There's different ways on how to do it. Obviously, if you pay your rent for 1 year, then it's easier. You pay less money, you get a discount. But you can also do, let's say, monthly. You can do each quarter. You can do every whatever. There's different ways on how you can do it. But obviously, if you pay the money upfront, you will always save a little bit of money. When I came to Dubai, my first apartment was upfront 1 year. Then I changed it to half year. So I paid half year rent and half year rent. Now, for example, I'm paying every 3 months, so every quarter for my apartment. Depends on how you want to do it. I would always recommend you obviously to, let's say, every month or every half a year or every quarter, just because liquidity is very important for us as entrepreneurs. Obviously, you need liquidity, and paying money for 1 year upfront obviously also is a good feeling that you know, okay, I paid everything for 1 year. Depends on how you want to do it and if you want to save money and if you obviously have the money. Now, also another question that just comes to my mind for one and all is, how much money do I need in the UAE as one person? Many people ask me, how much money do I need? How much money do I need? I came to Dubai when I was making at least 10,000 US dollars a month income through my online businesses. And then I had a lot of money saved up and money from profits from investing and trading. So I paid with profits of investing and trading my first year completely in Dubai. And I obviously scaled my business income or my commissions higher, but I would still recommend you, so I'm just giving you my example, I would still recommend you to at least have $10,000. Obviously, you can go with less, right? In the UAE, you can actually live very affordable. But the other problem with the UAE, or especially Dubai, is that you can spend a lot of money, right? Dubai has everything and you get it in a couple of hours. So if you're someone that is not very disciplined with money or spending money in general, then you will have a little bit more struggle than wherever you come from, because if you want something, you can get it instantly, right? You want a new iPhone, it's at front of the door in 6 hours, right? So everything is there instantly. So if you are good with money or not, that's up to you. You will need to, evaluate yourself. But I would still recommend you to have somewhere like $10,000 a month coming in, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, 11,000, on average 10,000, and you will have a pretty good life, because actually also it makes sense to come here and then maybe not struggle financially or push through or whatever, because again, Dubai is a big experience. If you want to live in the areas where most people want to live in, downtown, Business Bay, let's say Marina, whatsoever, these apartments are a little bit more expensive, and you most likely will spend most of your money in Dubai on apartment, and then basically most likely going out, and that's like food and drinks, because most people eat outside here. And then again, depending on how good you are with money, you can order everything so you can spend even more money, but you can start slowly, change your habits also once you make more money. But that's very important to understand. So with that being said, guys, that's my guide on how to move to Dubai. Very important is that I am not a lawyer, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not an advisor for opening companies. That's just my opinion, my knowledge, how I did it. And what I can offer you is working together with e.t.c. That's where I did all of my company registrations with. I will get a commission for that, which is 1,750 dirhams, which is not a lot of money. At the end of the day, I have someone that will take care of all of this, will take care of you. Obviously, I will always help you if you have any questions. With that being said, that's the transparent way on how I wanted to explain it to you. And once for all, we finally have a video so you can check out all of the information and send it, because I know so many people are interested in moving to UAE and it is a great country to move to. And I would recommend to do it right now. Get the company. Even if you're uncertain if you want to live in the UAE in the future, it's still good to have the company, because you never know what happens in your country. You will never know what happens in the future in the UAE, if the process of coming into the country and registering and getting a residence is going to be getting more like difficult in general in the future, if they will still allow so many people to come, because right now their policy obviously is to attract a lot of people opening businesses and people coming to the UAE, but you don't know how long this will last. Maybe in the future it will be getting more difficult. And then again, you don't know what happens in your country, especially if you're living in the westernized countries. You don't know about wars, you don't know about all these things. So it is always good to have a second resident, a second driving license, and a second place to be and where you can just move to. and keeping your ID and your status activated in the UAE, you have to travel to the UAE in every 6 months, right? So after 6 months, if you don't enter the country, the resident ID will be basically cancelled, okay? And then you have to go through the whole process again and reapply for the Emirates ID. So 6 months, you have to come here for 1 day if you want to, or just fly in, fly out again. Obviously, most people come here, stay a little bit, but it makes sense to keep it active. With that being said, guys, leave a comment below if you have any questions. I will answer them, or contact me on the link below too if you have any questions regarding you getting started and building up your company and moving to Dubai and getting your residence done. Let's get it.